What up, crew? What's good? Welcome to another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast. It is on and popping. It is Wednesday. No, I'm lying. It is Thursday. Before I go, I'm a week, not even a week, like 6 days out from going to Woman Evolve, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my live. Please go and follow the Instagram because I am going to go uncomfortably live every step of the way, from flying to all of those things. So tune in. I travel out on Wednesday the 13th. I'm going to the Bible study at the Potter's house. And then we're going to have a great weekend going to the events and things. I am on the app. So if you listen to the pod and you're going to Woman Evolve, you can find me on the app. Reach out to me. I would love to meet you. I already had someone letting me know that they're interested in me reading a book that they're finishing up. And shout out to the people who have sent me books. Trust me, I have not forgotten about you. I have like 4 books I'm rotating right now, because typically my business of the pod and being a reader of books, I've been hosting book reviews for other people's communities, and I have to read the books that they're reading, and of course they align with me and everything. So it's been absolutely amazing. But I've also will be booking. I got you. So if you sent me a book, I read every last one of them little bit by little bit. Just know there's a system and a process. Okay? And I'm just overall grateful for all the opportunities that are coming my way. I want to steward them well. You feel me? Okay, so what else is happening? Y'all, like, I ordered some wallpaper. Pray that it goes up well. I was a visual merchandiser, so I'm used to putting up stuff, but getting Nordstrom products to install is probably a lot more better quality than the Amazon wallpaper that I got, because I want to spruce up the vibes. Like right now, I picked to record in front of my library behind me. If you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see the part of my library, my husband and I's. But prior, I was recording on my couch, and I miss recording on my couch, but I wanted to be a vibe, and I felt like the books spoke to my brand and my vibe. But yeah, my office is not overly huge, but it's just right. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out, y'all, because I can't talk about it yet. Oh, stuff is coming, but I wanna be quiet. You just gotta watch. You just gotta watch. Another cool thing, like tomorrow, you'll be listening to this Monday, but this Friday, because I'm recording on Thursday, I'm meeting with I am meeting with someone, a recruiter, to discuss hiring an admin for my real estate business that is also going to help with podding. So I'm expanding, I'm growing, and I'm getting uncomfortable, and you guys are along the journey. And that's why the book we're reading right now, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, is just so on time, because I feel like I'm in another level of growth. And so this literature is definitely hitting me at the right time. Okay. So, and the author is John C. Maxwell, very popular faith-based author, and has talking about a whole vibe. He a whole vibe. The community is a whole vibe. Okay. So, I love starting off the pod with who Gon Check Me Boo God is. So I just welcome. Oh, what is it? House orders. I'm trying to get used to saying my thing in the beginning, because someone that I know was like, you should say this in every episode. So I'm gonna say it now. Welcome to the podcast where I read the books you should read but don't have the time to. Okay, that's our that's our tagline. I'm being very careful with my words, because one of the books that I'm reading right now for a community is The Tongue, A Creative Force. And if you see the cover, you're kind of like, oh, that is probably not a book I would pick up. But let me tell you, this book is very powerful. You feel me? So I'm all about not what it looks like, but what is it going to teach me? at this point. Okay? You get to an age, like, I'm not single. I'm full-blown married, 13 years. But I hear, like, my single friends, you can get caught up. Sometimes the prettiest, the finest be the worst ones. It is no point of being beautiful on the outside and horrible on the inside. I would rather have somebody that I'm a little bit attracted to, you know, your hygiene, right? Then and have the most beautiful insides and treat me the best than to be with someone, or even with friendships. Like, thank God my husband is okay, and I can look at him all day. You feel me? Okay. But even with my friends, like, I remember being in high school and watching, like, certain groups, and, like, all my friends pretty, all my friends bad, but half of them chicks was crazy, or bees, you know what I'm saying? They were some bees, and I was just like, I don't want to be friends with y'all, because y'all mean to each other. Y'all talk about each other. I'd rather be with the people that you think are ugly but have the most beautiful inside, not the standard of beauty, but has the most purest hearts and that are loving and that will show up for you, than the people who just fine as wine and stink and smelling themselves. You feel what I'm saying? But anywho, I don't know how we got there, but we got there. So let's just get into who gonna check me, boo. God is. He is always checking us, and we deserve a good check. Zach, you feel me? I don't know if you watch the video. You gotta kind of do a little deal with it. Okay. All right. So who gonna check me, boo comes from the sermon by Pastor T.D. Jakes. It's called The Power to Stop. The sermon will be in the show notes. Let me tell y'all. I send it to everybody that I know that is close to me. This message hits. Okay? It hits. And I'm only going to I'm going to read the description from the YouTube link to kind of give you a synopsis of what they described it on the YouTube. And then I'm going to give you the scripture that knocked me out, and then the key points that registered with me. I mean, the whole sermon was knocking me out. But in this context today, I wanted to talk about this. But in the description, it goes, how often do we find ourselves fighting against generational curses? Just like the Israelites faced back-to-back challenges, we too experience hardships that feel never ending. But here's the good news. God can stop those attacks just like Moat stops foot soldiers in a war. You can break free from inherited struggles and enter a place of abundance and fulfillment. Let go of the familiar and trust Him. Embrace the power to stop negativity, doubt, and fear. Will you allow God to break the chains weighing you down? That passage alone make you want to preach. Okay? That should make you want to go watch. But I wanted to, the sermon focused on John chapter 5, verses 1 through 15. But I'm going to focus on Joshua 5:12. It said, the manna stopped the day after they ate this food from the land. There was no longer any manna for the Israelites, but the year that they ate the produce of the Canaan. Listen. If you know the story of the Israelites coming out of Egypt and them having manna come from God, sending them manna from above, what I learned in that sermon was manna didn't come out as bread. It was the ingredients to make the bread. So they had to put in the work. Okay? Now, when the manna ended, it ended because he felt like in this particular area that they were healed, and because they were being healed from circumcision. You got to go read it to get a whole basis of it there, but go read it. But I just want to talk about what was the point that hit with the manna, because catch it, listen closely. The manna stopped, right, the day after they ate this food, because they had new food, because the new food is the thing that needed to sustain them now. The manna no longer, if you catching it, the manna no longer served where they were at. Feel me? God can give you grace in one season and cover it, but when it's time to move on, sis, the grace has moved over here and you still over here doing the same things that don't have grace no more. That's why it ain't working, because God had asked you to move, and you gotta move when he move. It's like when he move, you move, just like that. Okay. All right. So the 3 points that really hit me today, it like re-registered in my soul. It was, God has changed their diet. What they ate in the wilderness, you will not need in the promised land. So whatever you're struggling with in this season and the things that you need to do to get through this season, it could pivot to what you need to survive in the next season. For instance, the next 100 episodes of this pod may not be the same substance that held on the first 100 episodes of this pod. So I got to be willing to move. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because if I don't move, I'm going to stay stagnant, and God going to be up the street waiting for me, and I'm around the corner. And I'm out here wondering why I ain't getting blessings. It's because we haven't moved. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. The second was, God is going to change your method. The same method that worked before is not going to work over for the same things. Like, it's going to be new levels. And the past few episodes, I know I've been talking about new levels, but I feel like this is hitting with somebody. Like, the same things you were doing last year not going to work this year. Shoot, girl, the same things you was doing yesterday not going to work tomorrow. Because literally, he can change something suddenly. Listen to what the scripture said. The manna stopped the day after they ate this food. So when you start to process the new that God has for you, the other things have to stop. You have no choice, boo. Okay? And the last point today that I'm going to touch on, okay, that resonated was, the promotion of the Lord is disruptive. Oh, he is shaking the table. He is shaking the table. And I'm just like, come on, God. Yes, I welcome whatever disruption that God brings, only if he bringing it. Okay? So that was a Who Gon Check Me Boo. I hope that checked you just as much as it checked me, honey. And I need you to go to the show notes and click the link in the bio and watch the sermon, The Power to Stop by T.D. Jakes. Okay? All right. So the power, something that you shouldn't stop, that I know I need to be, I'm preaching to myself because I be on and off with therapy, is therapy. You know, it's affordable, it's convenient, and that's why I partner with BetterHelp. Whenever I do therapy or in therapy, I go to BetterHelp. And the cool thing is, if the therapist is still partnered with BetterHelp, they'll hook me up with the same one. But if not, because maybe that therapist, maybe BetterHelp was manna and they had to go open up their own practice. I don't know. But if they're no longer there, then I can get time to search for another therapist. So I really like it. It's professional. And with our partnership, you get 10% off your first month of therapy. And so give it a shot. And this just came to my spirit. If you're in a relationship and you want it to work, but only you're the only one willing to go to therapy, but your spouse is not, please still go. Please still go. Because I remember a time where my husband was like, H to the no to therapy, and I found myself going. And then he saw how I was going and how it was changing me on how I handled him. It made him more intrigued to go back and really give it a shot. And it really helped us. So give therapy a shot for you. Only go for you. And then bring in the others and they'll follow along. Okay? You could be rubbing off, child. Just rub it off. Rubbing off on people doing the right thing. All right. And talking about rubbing off people and doing the right thing, I want to talk about some crew love. Thank you everybody who's done a written review. If you haven't, please click the link in the show notes of Apple and leave a written review. I would really appreciate it. Give the podcast 5 stars. Share the episode. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Fanbase, YouTube. You can also, you can watch the full videos on YouTube. You can also go to our personal website, thecrewbookclub.com. You can purchase bookmarks, t-shirts, and you can see additional content from me. And I'm just super excited about everything. The crew, it is on and popping. Do you feel me? Okay. Now let's get into our book by John C. Maxwell, The 15 Valuable Laws of Growth, because that is what we're about. We are about growing. And chapter 5 and chapter 6 today is going to be awesome. You hear me? Chapter 5 is the law of consistency. Consistency, sis. What should you be doing? And what should you be consistent in? I don't care if it's just making sure you wash the dishes every night before you go to bed. Okay. Whatever it is, you need to focus. And thank you, Holy Spirit. Consistency starts at the smallest thing. I'll tell you a story about my consistency. I used to struggle with consistency, right? And one of the things I had to get consistent about was something so small. It was like taking my shoes off at the door. Doing the dishes when I say I'm gonna do the dishes. Just making sure. And it was the littlest things. Like, be consistent in this. And then being consistent in that made it easier to be consistent in something bigger. Like, I challenged myself on how consistent I can be. And that's what led to me being consistent and doing, where we at, 90? We had 92 episodes of this show. So you just not gonna come out the gate and be consistent. It's a practice thing. It's something you work up to. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning of chapter 5, let's go. The law of consistency. In the beginning, it has the quote. It says, motivation gets you going. Discipline keeps you growing. Okay? He said, motivation. Oh, I read that part. I would do my best to give people reasons to work hard. I try to make them laugh. I try to touch their hearts. My goal was to inspire people so much that they'd be ready to charge hell with a water pistol. When I was done, I walk away thinking I've done a good job, but often what every motivation people received didn't seem to last long. And it's so funny, when I read this, it made me think of a young lady who met me, and she said, I listen to your pod, and when I get off your podcast, I'm like ready to go, and then I don't. And then I kind of lose all that motivation. And I'm like, this is only a small part of it. This is the kicker. You have to be the disciplinary in this situation. Okay? So it goes to page 71, and it says, E.M. Gray said, I'm sorry, let me set this up for you. We all know we need to be consistent, but in the book, in this chapter, he talks about how to grow in consistency. Hear me out. The first thing he wrote on page 70 was, do you know what you need to improve? And I like the quote on page 71 in that section by E.M. Gray saying, the successful person who has the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do, the successful person doesn't like doing them either, but it's his dislike is subordinate to the strength of his purpose. I'm shaking my head, because as an agent, I don't like door knocking, which I don't like open houses. I don't like cold calling. But those are some of the key things that we have to do to be successful realtors. So I have to get out of the mindset of, I don't like to do it. Now, what I will say is, I do ask God what he wants me to do, and I do that. So when I'm guided to do the open house, or when I'm guided to call the person, or when I'm guided to knock on the door, I will do it. But I'm not doing without God's permission. There's a difference. And I used to excuse that with not doing it, right? But I had to convict myself. God was like, I ain't say that. And I was just like, okay. And I've done some open houses, and so I pray to him and ask him what I should do, but I don't avoid doing the things that I need to do to be successful. And that's where we need to get out of our minds. Like, we're not going to always like the things, but the things are going to lead us to hire the people to do the things that we don't like. Do you feel me? Okay. We're going to speak that. Number 2, how to grow in consistency. Do you know how you are supposed to improve? Do you know what you're going through? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Anyway, match your motivation to your personality. I just recently took DISC and some other personality tests these past, and I found out who I am, what I am, so I have a better understanding of what type of team I need to hire to help me. I'm the motivator. That's what I do. I have a lot of ideas. I can push you, motivate you, but that organizing thing, I need somebody to do that. I can be creative as heck all day, but I do the things. I do good at time management. I do good. But baby, I would do a lot better if I had somebody else. So know what you're supposed to improve in. Okay. Another part of knowing what you're supposed to improve is start with the simple stuff. Oh, this goes back to making sure I took my shoes off at the door no matter what. Making sure I wash the dishes before I go to bed no matter what. Meaning load them in the dishwasher and all that. Or make sure I put away the clothes. It started off in these small, meticulous things. So I had to start small to build myself up. It gives the story of a Charlie Brown scenario. And there was an episode where Charlie Brown was like, you're thinking too hard. Oh, Lucy told Charlie that he was thinking too hard. And what you need to do is set more immediate goals for yourself. Okay? And then the author says, John says, if you want to gain momentum and improve your motivation, begin by setting goals that are worthwhile but highly achievable. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. So like, for instance, right now with my business, I know I need to talk to 33 people a week. I mean, not a week. I need to put 33 people in my database, but I need to talk to 10 people a day, right? 100 people a week or whatever. So I'm breaking it down where it's like, I'm going to do 10 people a day. I'm going to touch 10 people, whether that's personal email, text, and a phone call. But I have to start small. So maybe whatever you need to do in your business, break it down into a smaller bite size. Or find something in your house to be consistent with and reward yourself in that way. But start small. Don't just not do it. Okay? The second part of the number 2 of do you know how you're supposed to improve is be patient. Be patient. It says the people who grow and achieve the most are the ones who harness the power of patience and persistence. Another step to how are you supposed to improve is value the process, y'all. Ooh, I had to learn that. I had to learn it the hard way because I would skip over things and then find myself having to go back and do it because I didn't go through the proper processes. Okay? So why waste time? Just value the process. It says on page 75, if you value today and find a way to enjoy it, you will invest in today. Okay? So the third thing to growing in consistency is, do you know why you want to keep improving? We're going to touch more on that. I changed the challenge of the week because I found something better. But in this chapter, I like how he broke down, I'm right. So challenge of the week. So stay tuned because later on in the episode, we're going to break down, do you know why you want to keep improving? Because it's going to be part of your challenge of the week. Okay, so just stay tuned for that. Oh, it's going to be so good. Number 4 of how to grow in consistency. Do you know when you're supposed to improve? Okay. Now, we all know the obvious answer is, I need to improve right now, Sade. I get it. At the same time, on page 78, he says, so you need to get started if you haven't yet. Okay? More important, you need today to be every day. Every day needs to be a start of a right now. Remember in the first episode, the challenge was do it now, say that to yourself 50 times in the morning and 50 times at night. You need to do it now. When we get off this podcast, if you feeling motivated and you like, yeah, Sade, we gonna kill it. We gonna kill it. We gonna do it. When you click off this episode, you better do that. You better do one thing. I don't care if it's a small thing. I don't care if you look up and be like, let me call this person. Hang up, do it right now. Okay? I don't care if it's, I know them dishes in the sink. Let me go do it right now. You know what I'm saying? I know I need to go walk them out. Let me go do that thing right now. All right, do it now, okay? And let every day be a new day, okay? It says you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. Oh, Atomic Habits. That was a big one. If you're struggling with I recommend Atomic Habits. We did that last year in one of our seasons, not seasons, but a few of our episodes. We did the book Atomic Habits. Maybe it's time to stop setting goals. Oh, that's another point of this chapter, the law of consistency. I was just like, oh my goodness. So how to grow in consistency was those 4 questions. Do you know what you need to improve? Do you know how you're supposed to improve? Do you know why you want to keep improving? And number 4, do you know when you're supposed to improve? So then it goes into this other section of chapter 5, the law of consistency. It says, maybe it's time to stop setting goals. Whoa, I don't know. But then when I read it, it said, instead of being goal conscious, I focus on being growth conscious. Because when you're growth conscious, you focus on the journey. It matures you in others. It's lifelong. It changes you. It keeps you growing beyond the goal. Okay? If you go consciously, which I think a lot of us do, it focuses on the destination. And when you get to the destination, you feel like that's it. But if you focus, that's why we should focus on the journey. Because when it's a journey, there's never an end. Right? So those were some of the top things that was in chapter 5 for me. And chapter 6, let's get into the law of environment. And I want to focus on the 6 choices to put ourselves in a better place for growth. And that started on page 88. And one of the first steps was assess your current environment. Think about it. Understand who and what matures your personality. Your music, the thoughts you have, experiences, the friends you keep around, the recreations that you do, your spiritual exercises, your what dreams inspire you, what family members care for you, what blessings activate you, what recollections make you smile, what have you read that changed you. Like, pay attention to your current environment. All of those things are your current environment. What you watch, what you eat, all of those things are a part of that. The second thing that's to put ourselves in a better place of growth is change yourself in your environment. Okay? He said what helped my decision making was concerning personal growth was focusing on my growth environment. He said, does my environment have others are ahead of me? Am I continually challenged? My focus is forward. The atmosphere is affirming, and I'm often out of my comfort zone. That's how you can measure whether you're in an environment that's growing. Okay? So that was good too. That was on page 89. If others are ahead of me, am I continually challenged? And my focus moving forward? Is the atmosphere affirming? And am I often out of my comfort zone? Another part of that was I wake up excited. Failure is not my enemy. Others are growing. People desire change, and growth is modeled and expected. Like, your environment should be like touching on all those. I have a weekly accountability meeting every Monday at 8 a.m. And all of us have elevated in some way. Okay? And that's how I know I'm in a thriving group. And we'll bring each other back to reality, like, hey sis, I've been falling on this. Let's get back on track. Okay? Or one will always be showing up, and one of us might be slacking. It's like, hey, let's go, let's get it. And those are the type of people that you need in your circle. Okay? So that was change yourself in your environment. The third one was change who you spend your time with. Oh, that's good. There was a quote by Jim Rohn asserted that we become the combined average of the 5 people we hang out around the most. Top 5. Who your top 5? Okay? You know, on the Breakfast Club, they have like, what's your Rushmore? Like, who are the top 5 people that you interact with daily? Do they present who you inspire to be, or growing to who in the environment that you're inspired to be in? Okay, check your top 5, sis. Top 5, top 5, top 5. You feel me? This was good. This was good. The fourth thing on page 94 was let me get you right. Challenge yourself in your environment. Don't expect other people to just challenge you. You got to challenge yourself, sis. Like, are you doing the challenges that I even give you? You know what I'm saying? Are you applying the things that you're supposed to do to become better? You can listen to me all day, but if you're not putting in the action, ain't no point. Okay? On page 94, it says, first ways of making my goals. One of the first ways that I challenge myself is making my goals public. Another way is to look for one major growth opportunity every week. Okay? So your growth opportunity can be listening to this podcast and actually doing the challenges of the week. Okay? That could be a growth opportunity to start with. Then it becomes bigger by reaching out to possible people that you want to work with or anything like that. And if you want to make your goals public, sis, come on over to the Cool Book Club Instagram. You can make them public all day. I will blast you. Okay? All right. So the number 5 on 6 choices to put ourselves in a better place for growth was focus on the moment. If you need to make changes in yourself, in your environment, don't dwell on your past. You can't change it. Don't worry about your future. You can't control it. Focus on the current moment and what you can do now. There was a story in here about happiness. And a wife ended up saying, my happiest moment is right now. And the husband was like, but what about the day that we got married? And she was like, well, that has passed. And that made me think. It made me realize, like, I used to say, oh, when I lived in Orlando, I was making $25,000 a month right before I left. And I just had my biggest months in real estate. I wish I could go back there, da, 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 da. And I was like, dwelling on the happiest moments in the past can have you stuck from pursuing your future because things have changed. All right? So don't dwell on the past. Focus on the moment. Not saying that you can't learn from it. I'm saying don't dwell in it. You feel me? Okay, number 6, the last thing, 6 choices to put ourselves in a better place of growth is move forward despite of criticism. You know how many people say, oh, it's too late in the game to get into potting. I don't care. I am moving forward. Robot. God told me to, so I'm going to move forward. It says here, I highlighted it. Growth always comes from taking action. And taking action almost always brings criticism. Because they hating, because they ain't doing it. They're not doing the thing that you're doing, but they're not taking action in their life. So they have to find somebody to criticize. They got to find somebody to criticize because they doing what they need to do and they not caring what other people think. So check that. It also said, move forward anyway. To reach your potential, you must do not only what others believe you cannot do, but what even you believe you cannot do. Most people underestimate themselves. They shoot for what they know they can reach. Instead, they should reach for what's beyond their grasp. If you don't try to create the future you want, you must endure the future that you get. Now, that just checked me again. Like, intimidated by who? Intimidated by what? Do you know who my God is? Through my God, all things are possible. And I'm going to work it as such. Okay? I don't care if Beyonce came up to me. I would not be intimidated by Beyonce. If I'm in the space with her, then that means I'm supposed to be there. Why would I be intimidated by her? Okay? Will I be a little like, oh my God, this Beyonce? In my head? Yes. But I'm not going to shrink. You know what I'm saying? Anywho. So, I know some of y'all probably like, girl, you lying. You know Beyonce. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I just feel like God is just, now don't get me wrong, I don't feel like that every day. I'm pretty sure she have her moments too where she might feel inadequate even though she is, quote unquote, Queen Beyonce. But I'm pretty sure she have her days of insecurity. We all do because we're human. Okay? But anywho, I like this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Whatever course you decide upon, there's always someone to tell you you are wrong. I don't care what you do. Whether you don't do it or do it, you're going to be wrong to somebody. So you might as well do it. All right. So that was chapter 5 and 6. Now the challenge of the week is on page 76 through 77. And that's what I had pivoted. I had paused on for us. And this is so good. It is called the why test. This is the why test. This was in the section where it said, do you know why you want to keep moving? And this is where it's like, well, why? So if you go to page 76 through 77, it's the why test. And I'm going to put these questions in the show notes so you can see them. And also in the description on the YouTube channel. This is the why test. Number 1, do you constantly procrastinate an important task? Number 2, do you require coaxing to small chores? Don't charge me if I said it wrong. Number 3, do you perform duties to get by? Number 4, do you constantly talk negatively about your work? Number 5, do the efforts of friends to encourage you to irritate you instead? Ooh. My sinuses. Hold on, y'all.